All right, so we'll start with like the kind of stuff going, and I'll try to transition this and segue this. All right. Welcome to a new episode of Wisdom Wednesday. I'm having to pre-record this one because I'll be busy next week, so we're trying to just figure this out and make sure we keep the consistency. Pete's able to make it. We're able to make this happen. First thing I wanted to bring up, because it's something that if you're not aware, I know Pete. I'm filling Pete in on the situation as far as like I think UCLA is having a bunch of like protests. Harvard, there's a bunch of universities around the U.S. where they're essentially what's another word for like they're petitioning, but they're protesting, and raising Palestinian flags, lowering the U.S. flag to raise Palestinian flags, and finally, I would say, people, even Democrats, which we're not going to dive down the political rabbit hole, but even we'll say liberal thinkers they're having enough of it, which is I think is a good thing. Like there's a line here, and I don't know if it's a New York commissioner or what affiliation they had with NYPD, but there was a guy I saw on TikTok, some important official, and he's like, we're not gonna give our flag up for the other flag. We are in the United States of America. He goes on to talk how his uncle served in the military, so on and so forth. And it was just something that I felt, because I was thinking about this earlier when I had some time, when I had like a minute to think. I think it was probably during my lunch break, but it made me think heavily on like the Vietnam War, the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
Where kids then, that era of young adults were protesting their thoughts, and it was about peace and all these things, and now we're literally now segueing into like this new, which, if I'm being honest, I thought it was already something that was kind of occurring, kind of happening in universities, because there's been a lot of change in universities since I was in college back a while back. So I thought it was already happening, but then now seeing like the Palestinian flag being raised, and I think we would all agree that it's okay to voice your opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
It's okay to.
Why else would we be like in uniform?
Yeah, right. We accept this. We're okay. We're actually okay with this. But I am happy to see that there are adults. Don't take this wrong, because I've said this before in front of you. But 18, 19, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds. Like I'm not saying you shouldn't be free thinking. And what I try to preach to you guys. Think for yourselves. I need you guys to make your decisions, because there's one day.
I'm literally not taking care of you guys. I'm literally you guys are acting like children. I'm literally not gonna do it.
My point is just exactly that, and I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up because again, it made me think of like how it was in my college years. Like there wasn't any protest. Like this was what 2011, 2012 time frame. GWA was still happening, so like these things that were happening. They weren't current, and the global climate was still very much Middle East, and now that it's still in the Middle East technically, but it's ventured off to Israel and Palestine. It's just interesting seeing. I just wanted to bring it up. I don't know if we'll talk about this in depth or any more than what I'm talking about it now, but it's just something that's interesting, because then you being in the military, you're not in the college other than your friends that are at let's say Penn State and so on and so forth, but like. You're not going the day-to-day to class and like having that experience of college versus like the military in your case. So I thought it was just interesting. Again, all these thoughts, and I just want to get off my chest.
To sum up his point, he's saying that like Democrats and Republicans are coming together, or some have come together and been like, hey, this is our flag.
Yeah.
Like, don't desecrate our flag. Like, we understand, like, hey, you want freedom of speech? Like, you want to like protest? Like, by all means. Yeah. I'm not going to voice my opinion on this, but by all means, go ahead. Like, that's why we're here. That's why we, you have a right. You have a right,
I will, just to add another point, it's like, it does genuinely blow my mind, because people are like at UCLA, I heard this morning, like, people are like camping out and stuff. Like, they're like setting up tents and they're just setting up shop.
Yeah, some university barricaded themselves inside their thing, and the police had to, it was pretty nasty. I saw some videos, the police had to go in there and clean it up.
Just situated. But anywho, all that made me think of what I've learned and what I've thought I've learned, and so on and so forth. So let's jump in today, because I think the gift of singleness is the topic for today. And I'm at a different point in my life where I was in your seat, obviously. But like even with life experience when I was your age, like when I read Gift of Singleness, I immediately thought of my college years and like my preemptive years of like being a musician and going down that route, going through college and trying to figure out life.
Being a rambling man.
Yeah, but doing the music thing, but then at the same time, like learning how to live by myself. I moved away from home. I had my own apartment. I was going to school on my own. I had to essentially make new friends and make some friends while I was in college, and none of them stuck. So it was like, okay. Anyways, back to Give of Singleness. What is your perspective? What is your first point for today?
Here's the first one. You guys need to listen up. Listen up right now.
Pete's gonna be very, very tidy on this one. I feel like he's gonna be very, very straightforward.
Yeah.
Also.
All right. So here's what you guys need to understand. And this is, I've played victim with this. I'm like, oh, I'm single. Whatever. Like it's so stupid. It is a gift. It is a blessing from God. It is an opportunity. That's what people aren't getting, right? And with that, right, there are things you can do in a relationship that you can't when you're not in one. I'll give you an example.
It's true.
I heard a story. This one guy, right? Another natural disaster happened in Haiti, right? And his buddy who was talking on the podcast, who was single, literally just picked up and he's like, yeah, I'm going to Haiti. I'm leaving in 12 hours to go help out the Haitian people. And the guy's like, man, that's really cool. But he can't do that. He has a wife and kids. Dude, there are so many things you can do. And people can be like, oh, yeah, you can flex with it. You can absolutely flex with it. Me and him both preach that. Don't be a victim to, certain things you have going on in life. Make the time, be flexible, right? But there are just so many opportunities, man. Just serving at the church. You and your wife can serve at the church, right? But now you gotta get someone to watch your kids and all this other stuff.
It's true. I think they're not. What Pete said, the things that Pete is saying are not illogical. It's not illogical at all. Even from my perspective, that's what I'm saying. I agree with what you're saying.
So the overall point is stop playing victim and stop feeling bad for yourself. And this is getting into the second point, if you don't mind me hopping into the second point, because it ties in.
Let's go.
Is stop saying, because I've heard from guys and girls, right? I'm not blaming anyone specific here, but guys and girls, I've heard it, and I've used it myself. I believe maybe you have in your life, is stop saying you deserve someone. Stop saying you will find someone.
That's a good one.
It's the dumbest thing you could ever say, and I will tell you why. Do you really know? Do you actually know? Or, okay, so you must be telling God, oh, so you want to tell God this. Oh, tight, whatever. If you are telling God what the plan is going to be, you are also giving someone super false hope. That's ridiculous. So stop saying it. Stop acting like it's a victim thing, oh man, if you're single, at age 30, I feel so bad for you. Shut up! No, it's not. What? You don't have to deal with kids. I'm not saying kids are a bad thing. I'd like kids one day.
Right.
It's not a bad thing, right? I get to go. Hey, maybe I just get to be the cool uncle. Hey, Andy. Andy brings his kids over. Hey, we're gonna go see Uncle Pete. Elliot brings his kids over. Hey, we're gonna go see Uncle Pete. You guys just stay with Uncle Pete for the weekend. You guys are gonna go hunting. You guys are gonna go lift weights. I'm gonna get him jacked. I'm gonna make him.
I'm gonna give him all the protein.
That's.
I'm gonna get him a shaker cup.
That is what the mindset you should have. That's the mindset you should have, man. I can't get over that. I just can't, because so long, dude. I've just been like, oh man, I feel so bad for myself. Whatever. Shut up. Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. I've thought that for so long.
Yeah.
And being in, I think it's 5. I've tried 5 times in the military with people, and it's just if that's not an anomaly in the baseline, I don't know what is. That's probably God just being like, hey, dude, you need to quit it.
Just not yet.
No,
you're good. So I've talked to you about this, but more on book. When we had time to just have a conversation. But one thing is I've said before is I wish, or not that I wish, but if you would have known me, if we would have been the same age 10 years ago, and when I was in that mindset, one thing is that I worked a lot to where it was a default bad thing, and it became a bad thing. But I did enjoy my 20s. I had the stories that I have all came from my 20-year-old that decade.
Yeah.
And like I enjoyed it. Obviously playing music, going to college, going to shows, like discovering Cody Johnson, like seeing Cody Johnson for $10. Like you can't do that now. He wasn't signed. He was opening for Kyle Park, for those of you in Texas who know who Kyle Park is, and some abroad. But things like that, where yes, I was going to shows on Thursdays. I was hanging out with the Bruce Street Eyes house. Shout out to them because they were basically my live music home when I was in Corpus during college. And but like Louis, rest in peace, he passed away a few years after I had left college. But he was a sound guy, made real good friends with him. He got me backstage all the time. While I'm playing music now we're playing Bruce Street every once in a while. Get to meet other musicians, all these things. But my point is I get to enjoy. I thoroughly enjoyed my 20s, and sometimes alcohol was involved and we had a good time and whatever. But my point for this is the fact that there is that balance where being single is a gift, and for me in the relationship sector, I think the only issue that I had, obviously looking back, but I never let anything kind of distract me or get it. Like music was that's all I wanted to do, and I couldn't at that time, especially in my earlier 20s when I first started playing music. I started to pick up gigs and whatnot. I wasn't gonna let a relationship like just even be a part of it.
In.
I had a friend, John. His name's John. I don't remember his last name, but anyways, I had a college friend, and I remember him telling me, he's like, why don't you let her decide if she wants to be a part of your life or whatever? I'm like, nah, because my default answer was always no. Why? Like I know what I want and I know what I'm gonna do.
Nah.
Really, basically. Like I distinctly remember being like in like the food court there on campus, and like we were eating and we're talking and whatever, and he's like, why don't you let this female decide? And I was like, why am I gonna put her through that? Like I'm going on the road for 3 weeks or 3 weekends coming up, like whatever, like whatever the situation was in that circumstance. But my default was always like, no, like why am I gonna ask her to wait? Here's another thing that I just realized as I'm saying it. I didn't feel like I should have someone waiting for me. I didn't feel like I earned or going back to like deserving. Like it's like why should you? Like I was like, why should you? Why should anybody wait for me?
Don't wait for me.
Like. Because then I felt like me doing my plans and still trying to go down my road, which I was going to do no matter what you said or decided, then you should do the same thing. That was my thoughts back in the day.
Yeah, don't waste your time on me.
That's the way I felt.
Yeah, don't be, that would be kind of selfish if you did ask
that's the way I felt.
that person.
That's what I felt.
Yeah.
But John, he was an older gentleman. He was actually a good friend. He actually went to a few shows, which was pretty cool. But because again, I think he was like a little younger than my parents. Like he was an older gentleman, like going through college again. Like he was getting a second degree, whatever path life took him down. But he became a good friend during my college years, and so I did take his advice with like a grain of salt. But like it made me think, because then that was my introduction to like thinking like, well, why shouldn't I ask someone who if they're willing to wait?
Because women are scary.
Yeah, we're in that season too. Season of scary women.
Solid season.
Yeah. But those are just some of the things that I've thought about as we come into this conversation. I generally knew what kind of road you're going to go down. But it's like there was that thing of I remember that gift. And even like the relationship now, I've talked about it, and I think about like these things like, well, if we want to go to Paris, right? It's like, okay, what logistical things do we need to worry about? Right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it, but that's why I'm saying these are real questions that sometimes you don't think.
List? Where's the diapers and
Sometimes you don't. You're like, oh, we're just gonna do this, and then by the time you know it's time to go, you've already spent this money, and like the logistics is just not. They don't even allow you to enjoy the trip or whatever,
Yep.
So, anyways, I don't know if you have anything else as far as like another point, but my thing is just I enjoyed my 20s. The gift of single was like that's what it meant to me. The gift of single it was me enjoying that time and like doing things, traveling all over Texas, Vegas, going to Nashville a couple times, like doing all these things that I can tell you stories about.
Yeah, dude, like my buddy Elliot, like I was talking to him about this a little bit ago. Like, dude, he was like he's been out to like Wyoming. He's been out to he went on another ski trip. I think it was to New York. Like he's like the captain of like the Thon team that we've talked about multiple times now. like all these things. Like he gets to he's traveling around with the boys, having fun with the boys in college, just doing his thing. He's not pursuing any females. He's doing himself. He's living. He's just having fun. And that kind of compared to what you just said, he's not asking anyone to wait on him, right? Because that would be kind of selfish. And he knows that like he's like going down south this summer, kind of like how you were just like based on the music journey, like not deriving from the past,
right? So it's not.
So 100%, dude. And then just hopping into the next point here on someone that was also on the path, right? Paul was on the path, dude. He was on the path, and guess what? He didn't have a woman. He did not have a woman. Paul was a loyal and faithful. If you guys aren't tracking on scripture from the Bible, Paul was a outstanding character. Like just putting up with like he would get beaten in every town he went to. He would get flogged, and if you guys aren't tracking, like flogs when you take like a whip, but the whip has like glass and like metal and teeth on it, and it's like taking away skin. He was stoned twice and almost died, I think, twice. Yeah. He was beaten with rods, thrown in prison. Like this guy, people are probably like, man, that doesn't sound very fun. If he had a wife, that may not have happened to him. But like, you guys don't understand from a Christian perspective, like he was spreading the word of God, man. And he may not have been able to do that because he traveled all over Asia, Greece, like, all over the place, man. He may not have been able to do that if he was single, just bringing glory to God. And God might have plans for you that require you to have a lot of free time on your hands for his kingdom, right? Like the seminar this weekend, like me helping out with that, me helping out with like surveys. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, people. I'm just using myself as a quick example. Me and my lifestyle page, maybe that's helping someone mentally. Like I know for a fact, dude, like Sam Sulek and a lot of other guys probably don't know it, but they help a lot of people mentally. They really do. Like people really do look up to them, and I hope they know that because. And I don't know if anyone really looks up to me. I don't know. Like I've had some people say like, "Bro, you motivate me," like or whatever. Like, thanks, dude. Thanks, King. But yeah. That. So just keep in mind like the Christian aspect of like spreading God's word and God using you in His plan. That He may not, really want that for you. And here comes a serious question. The question comes, why did God put these desires on my heart? And this hurts. That I want someone and that I have good intention of marrying them and being faithful and all that and wanting kids and growing them in the church. So why? Like I'm asking God, like, why would you give me this? Why? Like why? And it's the same reason when David tried to build a temple for the Lord. The Lord was like, hey, good intentions, but not my plan. And you have to surrender the way it's supposed to go.
I like that. Good intentions, but that's not my plan. Going back to kind of your first point.
Yes.
Of like, me. I'm gonna do it this way. Hey, God, I got this. We're good.
Yeah. Hey.
Like I got it. Yeah. Like I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're watching, but I got this.
And then God's like,
He's like, just kidding, dude.
Yeah.
Literally.
And because I'll give you a little example. I don't know if I told you about this. Okay. I think I might have told you about this formation in the formation this morning, but like, I had a friend from church. Okay. She hit me up and she was like, hey, are you single? I'm like, yeah. Why are you asking? She's like, okay, like, would you want to be set up on a blind date, this and that, from a girl from another church that we know? I'm like, sure. Like, we'll see how this goes. Me and you were talking about it a little bit. Yeah. And then I text the person in contact the other day who was like supposed to set us up.
POC?
Yeah, my POC, my point of contact, to link up, he was like, yeah, man, sorry, like, and we don't know each other at all. Like, I've never met this girl, whatever. And she was like, she told him, she goes, yeah, it's just not really the time for me right now. She was telling him this because we don't know, we don't have each other's contact information.
Hit this person as an intermediary.
Yeah, it's completely
third
blind.
Person.
Yeah, we are in the dark, no nods, and I got that text, and I was walking on my way to the gym. No other perfect time, dude, than going to the gym. And I said, thank you, Lord, because this is obviously not your will. And I prayed for myself and I prayed for her. I was like, if this is not your will, don't let this happen, And I was on my way to the gym. I got that text, and the Lord knew. He's like, I got to get him on the way to the gym when he sees this text. And I'm walking to the gym. I said, thank you, Lord. I took about 20 steps, and then I go, why? Why would you do this to me? Why would you just put it in my head. I wasn't stressing about it. Like, you really helped me out. Like, I wasn't stressing about it. I wasn't really thinking about it too much, but there was times I was like, man, this could work out. Like, this could be cool. I've never been on a blind date before, And then the Lord just comes in and goes, whoa! I like just, no.
Well, to harp on that part where like this could actually be a good thing, that's where that's my point of enjoying it. Like, I told you one thing I told you when you brought this situation up to me. I said, dude, just go in and just enjoy like the time. Like whatever attention you all give each other in whatever capacity, just embrace it. Just embrace like no strings attached, no the definite intent, no commander's intent. Yeah. Just go in there because I told you, you all don't know each other. And it was like with that, I was like, just embrace it, bro. You're in your I'll say young 20s, in your early 20s. It's like just enjoy it, have fun, enjoy each other's company. Make friends. And I mean this even in general. We're making friends. Sometimes if you have like an intent, and I feel like if you have a bad intent, then you're not gonna get your way anyways. But in this case, it's like no man, like it's just a person. It's a person. It's a person, and you're a person too, and. This is life, and we're just here. Yeah. We're trying to. I'm again when these things made me think about that deeper like life thing. It's like like why not enjoy it? Why not try this? Why not try that? Why not meet this person for the very first time on a blind date, and then go have dinner, and maybe y'all hit up, and maybe you don't. Yeah. And it actually doesn't matter because you're in your early 20s.
Yeah. It doesn't. It's fine though because I went to the gym and I locked in, and I like PR'd on everything.
That's the day.
Yeah, dude.
I found out about that part like later on. I knew about the situation, but I know about the gym part.
Dude. Listen, I wasn't going in there like women. I wasn't doing that, but like same time, dude, I wasn't like the happiest in the world. I'm not saying don't feel bad for me, folks. All right, that's why the Lord was like, I'm waiting for him to go to the gym. Oh man, oh no, like no, shut up. Lock in, going to the gym. Like that's what it was. I was like, I'm locked in now. And I went to the gym and just went off. We're
gonna clip this. This is hilarious.
Yes, 100%. And then okay, so we went over most of that. You can be an example of someone who does just fine for being single, for someone who's struggling. And this is what I really enjoyed about my lifestyle page is I think that I have been doing that a little bit. And that's what I'm trying to do on the page because it makes people feel maybe a little bit better about being single and, have a little fun with it. Like make fun of yourself a little bit. That's for anyone for the context of the memes. I don't do the memes because I support like the red pill movement. I don't do the memes because, no relationships have worked out for me, so women bad. Like, no, that's not it. That's not it at all, guys. Like, it's just a common gym meme thing. Like, would you like this cake? Or this cake. I'd rather just have 24-inch biceps. Like, it's just funny. It's just a way to kind of like cope with it and be like, it's funny, things happen in life. I don't have anybody, but that's fine. I just rather have 24-inch biceps, which to be honest with you, I might. But that's what I'm trying to do on the page. Like one of the things, man, is like, hey, I'm doing fine. I'm single. Like I'm helping in the way that I can, and have a little bit of fun with it. Like just. Don't get so down about it,
Yeah, you don't have to get worked up about it. So, like, to add on to that point of like, not taking yourself so serious, that's why I'm able to laugh. Like, when you all umbrella statement, like, make fun of me because of how old I am and, like, I'm just way older. Like, when we got some of our new leadership, like, the first thing one of them told me was, like, dude, you're, like, 56. What are you still doing here? Like, it's the greatest joke. I'm just laughing. And like, I'm just, like, laughing at that because I'm, like, that's hilarious. Like, why? Like, you should be able to laugh at things like that. And it can't. For me, it comes from that thing of like, I've learned not to take myself so seriously because at the end of the day, a lot of stuff like, what matters is like, literally. Okay, getting a little cliche here, but what matters is like, do we get to go home at the end of the day? And if the answer is yes, then we're good. We're good.
It's worldly. It's worldly. Yeah. And that's something that we always gotta remember, dude. Is like sometimes we just get so sucked in on like earthly things instead of like storing up treasures in heaven, dude. And like you can say, like it's bad for man to be alone, and if you want to come closer to God, you gotta get a woman together so you guys can grow closer to God. It's not just about you guys. I'm like, okay, well, have you ever thought about maybe like Paul or some of the other disciples who didn't even have wives? Like, are you even thinking about that? Like,
so let's add on to that. Job. story of Job.
Job.
He had a family and kids and so on and so forth and all these things and not these things. Like I didn't know the depth of that story until we were on the boat and we went through that 2-3 weeks of like talking about the book of Job. But like to add on to not only Paul but Job is the opposite because he was married. He did have kids and all this land and fortune and all these good things.
Yeah.
And he had to lose it all. And his friends couldn't even help him through that.
And then he locked in.
Yes, right. I mean, if you haven't read the book of Job, I think it's one worth diving into yourself so you can take your own journey on that. But that's just a brief example of like that's the opposite of like Paul single and you have Job who was not and he still had his trials and tribulations were unmatched to anybody else.
Yeah.
So anyways, I cut you off, but that's one
that
crossed my mind.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with the podcast, brother. We're doing good. Also, we totally came back.
Because I know I cut you off. But well, while Pete thinks, I'm gonna double down. I'm probably gonna repeat this again, but like, do you think you deserve somebody? Going back to what you said kind of in the beginning, as far as like, we feel like we deserve to have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever situation.
I remember my point. Down.
You do?
Yeah.
Just keep going. It's like, because one thing that for whatever reason I can't tell you. I haven't thought about it maybe long enough, but you don't deserve anything. I don't deserve anything. Pete doesn't deserve anything.
Nope.
We literally don't deserve anything. Now, should we work hard? Yes, obviously. Should we have hope? But so there's a difference between like thinking you deserve something and not having hope. And when you don't have hope, that's when you start going down a darker rabbit hole, and that's where things start getting nihilistic and negative and depressive and different, or depression, not really depressive, but like the state of depression. I think that's one thing I wanted. I'm probably gonna reiterate the deserving part, but it's because I do feel strongly about like we do not deserve anything.
No.
But should we try to be good people? Yes. Should we try to help others? Yes. Should we try to give generously? Yes. And it's like, okay, let's start with that and then go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I really love that, dude. Like, you don't, so don't sit there and be like, I deserve like, I'm a good person. No, because no one's good. No one is good. I'm an awful person. And people, like, I've had people tell me before, like, oh, dude, you're such a great person. And like, excuse me. Like, okay, maybe from your perspective, but you don't know what I've done. You don't know what I think about. Yeah. Like, you don't know any of that, dude. No one is good. No one is good. Everyone is a black-hearted sinner. All right? We portray God every day. We put him on the cross and crucify him every single day. Right? All right, so with that, to build on that point, but don't let resentment hurt you. And we're going to tie this back in like we did the other night. Disappointment versus bitterness, right? So just because, another example again, right? Like we're going back to the blind date situation. Although like things haven't worked out for me in the military, that's not going to stop me from trying to attempt. Because I asked God if it's his will. Paul took off to Asia and then God's like, get back here. Paul was like, okay, I'm going to go over here. No, get back here. Like, I was like, hey, God, like, if it's your will, can I go on this blind date and meet this young lady? He was like, no. So I was like, okay, at least he's there. He shut that door for me, But don't let, like, oh, bro, she's hurt me so many times. Like, I'm just in the gym, locked in. Like, no women. Like, I know I said the other day, like, in one of my reels, like, a girl, like, I made eye contact with a girl, and then I'm not gonna lie, I did get kind of, I had, like, a Jocko face on me. I went, like that. I got like really. I don't know why. I just did, and it probably whatever. She probably thinks I'm super weird or like maybe a little slow or something, which is fine. That's fine. And but don't. I keep saying don't. Don't let disappointment keep you from happiness. Don't stop trying. Don't stop saying, because you can, like, that's just hypocritical to say.
Also, sulking, like, let the experience like take you where it may depend on, like, because of the outcome, but don't sit there. Like, don't sit there in that envelope of sulking or resentment or anything like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, don't stay static. And also, now you say, oh, women bad. Like, let's just say if that's you're a red pill guy, and you're like, no, women bad. Like, okay, dude, you're really gonna tell me all women are bad? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That's so stupid.
I'll say it's literally not true. Like, it's actually.
I'm not gonna lie. Have I had this mindset before? Absolutely. You know how every time it's went so far, except for maybe like recently, like is my buddies will call me. I'll be talking with them. Like, so man, how are you and so? Don't even get me started, bro. I'm done with chicks. I'm going to the gym. It was like 24-inch biceps.
It was like when we got back from leave and you're like, bro, we gotta talk. I said, okay.
Yeah.
Basically,
like, dude,
just catching you up on everything.
Dude, like Operation 24-inch biceps is a goal. Like, if I date another woman, you will come over to my house, you will come over to the barracks, and you will stomp my guts out and be like, no. Like, and then like, I don't know, like a year later, I'm talking to somebody, and my boys be like, oh, what happened, bro? I thought you weren't gonna talk to him. I'm like, shut up, she's different. Like, you know, like
she's different.
She's different, all right? Like, so I thank the Lord about this, all right? But yeah, the Lord was teaching me some lessons for sure. Here's my current opinion on how men are dealing with singleness. And not saying any of this is the fault of the women at all. I'm not...
You're saying it's not the fault of the women.
It's not the fault of the women. It's not the fault of the men. It's just certain circumstances that happen, okay? This whole thing of like, oh, men used to fight, men used to go to war, men used to fight lions, men used to write poetry and have duels for their brides. And then the guys say some things about girls. I'm not going to say them. I don't say them, but other people do, like part of the red pill movement and stuff like that, right? So, okay, it's just the result of certain circumstances that happens to everyone. Everyone has had bad relationship experiences, gets broken up with, but everyone deals with it differently, right? And so this is how I think guys have come together, and women, ladies, I'm not like leaving you out of this. I just don't know how you guys necessarily deal with things, right? I'm just saying this is what I've experienced from the guy aspect, right? First off, guys have started to be there more for each other. That is like 110% true. Think about it. Like all the I'm not saying it's just the memes, right? But like the memes do have like a little bit of influence. Like me and Pookie, like going to the gym without Pookie, going to the gym with Pookie, and like the guys like all happy and like guys are tagged. Like dude, there was like one post the other day that had like 2,000-3,000 likes. He goes, tag your gym bro and tell him that you're proud of him. And like I said that to like Squirrel and like a few other guys, right? That's happening, and now you'll see like certain things about retaliating against relationships that interfere with the gym. So guys are like, you know, hey man, like are we going to the gym today? I don't know, man. Like I might try to go out tonight and do this, and then the guy's like, no. Lock in,
or here's like another example, not dealing with necessarily a meme, but it made me think. Or nah, dude, my girlfriend, I'm not saying doesn't let me, but like my girlfriend wants to do this thing instead.
Yeah, and the friend is holding him accountable. The friend's like, we gotta get huge, bro. Yeah. Like we gotta stay on the path. Yeah. Not that he doesn't want him to hang out with his girlfriend. Yeah. He just wants to be with him. He wants to be like his Pookie Bear, like and there's nothing wrong with that. And me and Squirrel have the same thing. Like Squirrel, like he just feels really passionate about wanting to bring me down to Virginia and me like train with him and bodybuild and start a gym and start a podcast with him and start a whole thing, which is awesome. I love that. I think that'd be a great idea. I don't know how the future looks. I don't know where the Lord wants me, right? Fair enough. But he wants it just to be me and him in an apartment, grinding, spending time together, right? I feel like he didn't really have that as much back in the day. Guys are really starting to come together, and it's unfortunately because some guys are having the mindsets of women bad. Women break men's hearts. I will say some of the memes are kind of funny.
Humor's good though. Like
humor's good.
Again, that goes back to like they're not taking things so seriously all the time. Like it's just like it's not good. It's not healthy.
There will be like, I'll give you two of the funniest examples. Like there will be a video of a guy in the gym like curling 135 for like reps, screaming, and the caption will be, "What did she do to bro?" Like how did the breakup happen? Whatever. Yeah. Or then the other example is like, they'll see like a video of like a couple like dancing on the beach doing cute stuff together, and then it like turns like Sam Sulek looking up from like dumbbell curls and like getting the dumbbells up and starts like repping them out, and you're like the couples like dancing and doing the cute stuff, like that part of the reel is like I'm dreaming. And then the part where like Sam Sulek like gets mad and like puts up the dumbbells, starts shoulder pressing it, and is like, this is reality, So there's that. And more men are coming together in terms of groups and helping each other. Dude, there are so many men's groups out there, like whether it's in the church or whether it's in general, like again, referring to the Man Talks podcast, ladies and dudes, go listen to the Man Talks podcast. I promise you, you're going to learn so much about relationships, and it has helped me a lot, all right? But he has an episode on there on how to run a men's group, and it was a really, really good outline. I'm not gonna lie, dude. And so like they're having like there's men's groups all over the place, dude. Guys are like encouraging each other on the internet. Like you see like the comment sections, like "Good job, soldier. Continue the mission," and they won't even be in the military.
Yeah,
They're like, "Good job, bro. Like love you, bro." Or like females will like post something on the internet, like a video of them like twerking or whatever, and like just being just being
videos.
Like that they shouldn't really be posting.
Yeah.
And guys will comment on there, "Continue the mission," or "Okay, Fed," stuff like that, like just stuff like that, because like the guys are like coming together. But listen, guys, if we are gonna come together like this week, like jokingly, okay, cool. All right, and to the females, I would like to get some of the feedback from the females. Do you guys think like those memes and stuff like that are hurtful? Because if they are, like, I'm going to take that into consideration a little bit and check myself, right? Because I really didn't think, I'm like, this shouldn't hurt anybody. Like, I have some girls liking the memes. Like, they think it's funny. But I really hope that it's not hurting anyone's feelings, because they may be like, man, like, guys think that about us? Like, guys are just going to the gym and getting huge because their hearts are broken? Like some guys, yes.
Some guys, to some extent, that is the truth.
And I think we've all had that phase in our lives. I had that phase. Dude, every time I gotten, like, broken up with or whatever, for the most part, until I matured a little bit. Yeah. Like, until, like, recently I matured, and I was like, bro, like, it's whatever. Like, it was a time in my life that this happened, this circumstance happened, no big deal. Like, was I a little bit hurt? Yeah, 100%, dude. But in the past year, I was 100% like, that's it. It's time to lock in. And like I just go to the gym, but I'm gonna get so huge. I'm gonna show her. Like that's the dumbest way to be motivated to go to the gym. Yeah. Like don't let a girl. It's a joke, guys. All right. Some guys are serious about it. Like, hey, she broke my heart. Time to go to the gym.
Because it helps. Sometimes it does help them get back into that. Just on the path. Like on a good path.
Yeah.
A good direction. Kind of get their life. Clean up their life and so on. So like. Yeah. There's some good to it. And so to that point, it's making me think like. The other word we can add on to this is vulnerability. Like we're starting to be willing to be vulnerable with each other, and
how can we open that up?
I do think it's affecting like male-female relationships, but it's gonna be a phase. I don't know how long it's gonna last. Obviously, I don't know how long it's gonna last, but it's gonna be a time period where that vulnerability, what we're willing to be with, when we're with each other. Is going to push away some females until, take this with a grain of salt, but until like things start changing and like the idea of what people want a relationship to be, what they think a relationship should be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like even starting off as friends, because
which I highly
at least
yeah.
So yes, but even the old cliche is like a female. Take this with a fucking grain of salt. Like chill. Okay. with what I'm about to say, but a female having a guy friend, I'm telling you. It's probably not just a guy friend. It's very low. It's literally a very low statistic.
That's not everybody. Everybody.
Right. It's just a low statistic to say that you are a female and you have a guy-only friend. Is it more common now? Yes, I think things are changing.
Yeah, and
but
that's fine.
The generation that I come from, again, in my 20s, it was not that. It was not that.
That's not good to go. Yeah.
Like I will say, my generation, I feel like started the whole circle of like one girl giving like 10 guys attention and then just feeding off of that.
Yeah.
It started with my generation now. I think things are changing, phasing out. But that's going to like the good part of what's some of the product now is that we're like me and Pete can talk, me, Pete, and whoever else can talk. Our other buddies around us in our platoon and whatnot is like we have a different willingness to be open with each other and just talk about literally anything and even bullshit sometimes. And just BS sometimes.
With that, right? Not only can you have like the guy friends, but the girl, like the friends that are girls. I have about 2 or 3 like friends that are girls that I can be like pretty vulnerable with, and they're like really cool. Like they're absolutely really cool. I have no intentions like with dating them, and because they bring a lot of good perspective to the table. You want woman advice? You go to them, dude. Like they are on the like that's intel gathering. That's on the inside. That's raw, versus talking to guys, dude. You get so many different like. Advice from guys, especially in the Marine Corps, because we know how most Marines, not all Marines, but how most Marines are thinking.
The majority of Marines.
But then you go to the females, you're like, hey, like, what about this? Like, what do you think about this? What's your experiences with this? How should I go about it? Yep. They will give you, like, good advice. Now, here's what I will say. You have to ride a fine line, especially if they have a man in their life, you gotta
Yep.
You got no, like don't completely, but every once in a while you want to check in, right? And if you have a good relationship with that dude, that you end up meeting him, and he's cool with you, like just reaching out, like me, like I like to send scripture, and I have a friend of mine who is currently like dating a Christian guy, right? I love to send her scripture because I think we are called to share the word of God, but I don't have any intentions of dating her, and I'm literally just trying to share the word of God and see how she's doing, and but I limit that because she now has that manly, godly figure in her life.
That's the difference, is having that hard line of like, okay,
Yes.
here's the message, here's what I'm thinking at the moment, and you're part of these thoughts along with my other friends. But it's because my experience before is like those lines were crossed all the time, and it was just like what it's like. And when you realize that, it's more on the guy. I'll say more on the guys because that's my experience. Is like, okay, now I don't want to deal with that. Like what? Like I don't want to deal with that. It's annoying.
It's a hindrance in the yeah.
And then I will say once, I've never experienced this completely, but I've seen it happen even in younger people now. I'm still pretty young, but younger people now is like when the girl starts like venting to you, the guy, about her boyfriend. That's bad to go. Bad to go. Like if you like, that's where I will say the simping comes in. I'm like, dude, get out of there, because it's also not healthy for you.
No, it's not. But here's the thing: is that because they may not be venting to you, but they might be asking you for advice.
I'm not. Yeah, well,
that
if
situation.
there has to be questions for that.
Yes.
I would say.
But that's what I've gotten. Like that's what the girls have come to me and be like, hey, like, what's he doing? Like, what? I don't understand this. Like, you're a guy. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, this is what I think. I don't know, but this is what I think because I'm a guy. But here's what I'll say, dude. Guys are harder to read. Like, guy versus guy, like me trying to read you is way harder. Girls, they can read each other pretty dang well for the most part. They know what each other are thinking. But like I said, you got submarines who are on this side of the spectrum. Yeah. You guys got on this side of the spectrum, guys in the middle.
Yeah, you're right. My favorite thing, a favorite thing that I do, going back to like the combat hunter type thing, is like, I will sometimes remember what you have said, and then I'll watch you. And it sounds like a kind of creeper, but I'm not. I'm just curious to what your action is going to say based on what you just told me. Because, and I will say, in young people, it's not wrong because you're still learning. In my eyes, I will kind of let you get away with things because you're learning. Now, if you get to a line where it's like life-threatening or you're affecting somebody else, then we'll adjust the situation. But for the most part, the metaphor I've used for a long time, for like probably a good 7-8 years now, the metaphor I've used is like, as long as you're not gonna hurt yourself or others, I'm gonna let you make mistakes. I use it with my cousins, especially all my young cousins, which vary in age from your age and younger, where it's like my mom will tell me something or somebody will tell me something about this child, and I'm like, okay, let me just watch them. Like, are they gonna hurt themselves? Like, probably not. Okay. Are they gonna hurt themselves? No. Okay, good. Like, good, cool. We're on the right track here. Mm-hmm. Do they want to try to learn how to ride a bike? Cool. Are they gonna fall down a few times? Go for it. Yeah, I'll help you give it up, and unless obviously I see something life-threatening on a physical side, okay, but like a little bit of crying, cool. Hey, come on, let's go again.
Hey, get up, right now.
I forgot what led me down that little rabbit hole, but like that's just something that I thought of, as far as this last point.
Absolutely. Well, that's really all my points to you. Just one thing to reiterate, guys. Yeah. It is a gift. Use it. Don't sit there and be like, boo-hoo me. Like, you can have those thoughts, man, because you can have emotions. You can absolutely have emotions of like, man, like, this kind of sucks, dude. Like, I'm seeing these people together and like, this kind of sucks. Like, you can absolutely have that, right? But then ask yourself, why are you feeling that way? But it's okay to have that. Don't just be like, oh, something's wrong with me. I need to lock in. Like, okay, lock in, cool. Like, the other day I went to the gym. I'm like, I need to blow off some steam. This is frustrating. Like, that's fine. Yeah. But then afterwards I was fine. I'm fine now. I don't even really think about it, right? But stop looking at it like, boo-hoo me. Everyone, all my other friends or whatever, and this is not like, dude, when your boy wants to go to the gym with you and smash weights and pull the whole stack, right? He can't because he's currently on a date right now. When you want to go on the road trip that you want to go on, or like, I want to go to Greece.
I was gonna bring him up. Actually.
Oh, okay, cool. Now you can't go to Greece because guess what? You have to go to your girlfriend's family barbecue next weekend. Good luck. Yeah, good luck trying to get out of that one because if you do, you're gonna be. It's over for you, dude. You're in the doghouse.
Most likely, yeah.
So
not be a good
stop being the victim to it. This is the last time I'm gonna say it. Stop being the victim to it. It's okay to have emotions about it. It's okay to want somebody. But what are you going to do now in that situation? What are you actually going to do? Are you going to help other people? Are you going to help single people? Are you going to improve yourself? Right? Are you going to maybe learn about relationships? Are you going to start listening to some relationship podcasts, maybe improve from your last relationships? Because, dude, I messed up a lot. A lot. Dude, oh my God. Like, almost like the G word. Oh my gosh. Like, I can't tell you how many times I messed up. I've been too vulnerable to people. I've let stuff go too far. I've given people too many chances. I didn't respect myself. I was
Tell them, bro.
Yeah, I didn't respect myself. I was like, oh no, that's just her. Everything's fine.
And I said, no, dude.
And then you were like, no, dude. And I'm like, bro, it's just her.
Okay.
It's fine,
okay.
bro. Like, that's just her. Like, no, that wasn't it. I ignored all the red flags. All right, and just let you know, everyone has their own red flag.
100%. Oh, yeah.
Someone's red flag can be someone's green flag. So if any of the people who are listening,
right, where
you know, like, you know what I'm saying. Don't get offended by that,
Yeah.
But that's all I got, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, this was a good one. We don't deserve anything, but doesn't mean you shouldn't have hope.
Yes.
I'm gonna end on that. We don't deserve anything, but doesn't mean we shouldn't have hope. We don't need to go down that nihilistic hole. I've seen people do it. I've seen adults do it. And it's unfortunate. It makes me internally just like a little sad for that person because, especially the specific example I'm thinking of, it like I know the situation that led that person to be nihilistic, but nonetheless, it's giving me perspective to like try not to go down that road. And so with that, we can go on with this gift because it is a gift, and we've given several perspectives, several examples, several ideas behind this gift of singleness. I never thought about it as a gift, but I never thought of it as not like I never said it wasn't. I never thought of it like as not a gift of singleness.
As like a punishment.
Like it wasn't a bad thing because again, like I wouldn't have the stories I have, and as we continue these conversations and as I continue moving with life, like I'll keep bringing these stories that have left me now to make the decisions that I make now, and what really enforces at the very bottom line of my foundation of thoughts and questions. What that means. But that's the end of today's episode. Make sure you subscribe, condition_havoc.
Sure.
Keep following Pete's content. It's literally hilarious. It's hilarious. It's informational. For me, the way I see it is like when I see Pete post, it's like, okay, cool. Like he's on his path and he's staying on his path, and that's like a little bit of hope, I would say. Going back to like the influence, not knowing if you influence people or not, it's like even if people don't tell you, but like just being that subconscious like scroll, like, oh, Pete posted again. Let's see what he did. Is it a post or is it like a meme or like whatever? But either way, like like you get in there and it's like, okay, cool, like we're doing our thing. Andy_MWL. You can subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Spotify. Those are the only two like main outlets I have for the podcast at the moment. Mind you, I need to upload like the rest of the episodes. I think there's like over 100 videos on YouTube, but I think on Spotify I probably have like 140 episodes total. So I haven't gone to there because I need to bulk download them, bulk like upload it and stuff like that. So we'll get there when we get there. We're going to continue this. We made this happen so that we can continue the trend as far as Wisdom Wednesdays go. But hopefully y'all have a good week. I'm out. Do you have anything last thing?
Please, guys. I think this is. I don't know if it's our most important one because you can't really measure by importance. But guys, please share this with a single friend. Please just share this, post it. Just get the message out there because I said this last time, you have no idea. You have no idea, like, the tools in the toolbox that you could be giving somebody by them just listening to this. They could be looking for the answer all along. One of your friends who's single, one of your friends who's been struggling in their relationships, one of your friends is just struggling with whatever, you send this to them, this could change their whole perspective. So please share it. That's all I ask. Share it on your stories. Right, you don't have to tag us if you don't want to. It's fine. Just share it, please. That's all we ask.
That's it. We're out.
See y'all.
That was a flow, dude. That flowed super hard.
I actually went to sleep way too early last night, so I woke up like in the middle of the night. And I slept like 3 hours. I was like, I don't know how this is affecting me. Like, I don't know how this is going to today. But at some point, I was like, something that like I hadn't forgotten my thoughts. I didn't have to write it down right away. I found to put. I can't. But like you can see, like I was like, yeah, I couldn't help it. I was just like.